Hello everyone, my name is Aya Adnan. I'm a functional consultant at Solvait. Welcome to this video. This video is the first video of Solvait training on employee self-services, triple S. In this video, we will be discussing the following topics. The first one is positions and how to configure positions, users management, workflow configuration, and finally, portal requests or triple S requests. Before we discuss positions, let's have a look on triple S interface. This is how it looks like. When you log in, you can find everything related to triple S. We will be discussing all the modules and all the requests in details later on, but for now, let's just go to configure positions on triple S or on AX. The reason we want to configure positions or hierarchy, organization structure hierarchy, is because workflow works on hierarchy. And when you don't have this configuration set up, you will fail to build these blocks in workflow. So the first thing we need to do is to configure workflow and its positions. So to go to positions, go to human resources, then positions, then click on positions. In this window, you will find everything related to positions, such as position description, job description, titles, departments, and report to position. And this is how organization structure is built. Now, when you see here that every worker is reporting to a specific position, for example, here this worker, Dave, its position is 23 or 00023. It's reporting to 000248. This is the position of his manager or his direct manager. When you click on his position here, you will find the worker assignment. You will find all the information related to position, such as position duration, report to position, and worker assignment. We will go through these parts now. The first one is job. Every position has a job, has a specific job associated with it, has a title, job title, and department in which this position or worker is related to this department or involved in this department, and also is it a full-time or part-time, the position type. Here we can find position duration, since when he was assigned to this position or since when this position was created. And here report to position, and this position is reporting to which position. So here the store manager 23 is reporting to this worker and this position, and this position 248 is assigned to Stephen, this worker Stephen, and it was effective or it was assigned since this date 2012. And here in the worker assignment, we can find which employee or which worker is associated or assigned to this position that we are standing on. For example, here, Dave is the worker assigned to this position. And the assignment start date is this date when it was assigned to this position since 2008. This is all what we need to know to configure workflow and to start our configuration correctly. To create a new position, you can do that using this button, New, and then it will be it will gives you a new sequence number based on the sequence number you chose before, and you can also, or you should choose a job, and then you should choose a department in which this position is related to. For example, I will choose here operations, and then the start activation, the date of activation. You can choose any date you want. I will just choose today, and automatically it will be 12 a.m. And then the retirement, you can choose, by default it will be never, but you can choose a specific date. For example, after 1 year it will be retired, and so on. So I will just go ahead and click on create position. Now this position is now created for me. We can assign a specific pay cycle, and we can assign a specific worker assignment. Using this tab, I can assign a new worker that doesn't have already a position. For example, if I choose Lisa and then select, it will be assigned to this position. I will just click yes. Now it's assigned to this position, and can also assign this position to a specific report to positions to make it report to a specific manager. So I will choose a specific position here, store manager, and then click on create, and then it directly become reporting to this position and this worker. So this is how we configure and add new positions, and also we can always change the title, we can always change the position type, we can also change department, and also sometimes we need to end a specific worker assignment to add or to change the worker to add another worker instead of the current worker. And we can do that by clicking on end or edit the date, and it will be directly ended. And also we can end it here from end and change the date so that it will be ended, and that's how we can um, end the worker assignment and add a new worker assignment to a specific position. The reason, as I said before, the reason we configure positions and make sure we cover this topic in Triple S training is because when you configure workflow, you should make sure that positions are configured correctly so that when you create a request, it go through this workflow correctly through the hierarchy, and all is set up correctly. Now we we are done with positions, the first topic. Now we will go through the user management and how we create new users and edit the existing ones. And let's go to configure users. To go to Solvait users, just click on Solvait payroll, then setup, and then go to Solvait users. Here in Solvait users, we can find all the Triple S users or self-services users that have been created before, and you can edit an existing one and you can add a new one using this button and add its information and associate it with a worker, and choose the company, user ID, set the password, and so on. And also you can make it active, and you should make it active to be displayed on Triple S. So I will just delete this one, and let's create a new user to see how it works. For example, I will choose the worker first, Tony, and this worker I will select it and just add the user name and then make it active and then copy this company code, and here we can add the user ID if he has a user ID, and just choose password and save. This is how I create the user for Triple S. Now all the company should have Triple S users if they are willing to open or to access Triple S or self-services. So all the company members, all the company workers will have accounts, will have users such just like these ones and associated with the worker to be accessed through in Triple S. Only a few users should have user ID, which is the Dynamics user. They are admins, they are HR users. So some users should have some users should have AX users, not all users, just a few users who will have specific rules such as doing actions on requests, such as managers, such as the persons who are reporting to. So they have actions to approve requests or reject requests and so on. So managers should have users ID so that they have the authority on security rules, specific security rules to reject or to take actions on the request. Now, let's go to users to see how AX users are configured and how security rules are added to these users. We will go to here, view details and the user ID, or we can access it through system admin module and then users. Here are the users in AX that we have already created, and here we can just click on new or edit the existing one. For example, I will create one to Tony and just add his email. Tony is already exists, so I will just add Tony H. I will add his email. This is just a testing email to add the information, and I will choose Tony as the worker associated with this user. So here I can just search for his name. I think this one is the one we are using, and just select and then company, choose the company and choose the username again, Tony H. Let's just say it the same as here and then saved. When I saved, it created the user for me and now it's ready to be used. Now, if I have to add security rules to this user, for example, if this is an HR user and needs administrative rules and needs to access all the system modules, then I will assign him a role that is called system admin. System admin. Okay, if he's allowed to have actions on the requests, if he's a manager and someone and he has an employee reporting to him and need to take actions to requests, then I need to give him a specific rules named DAB triple S request so that he can add to the requests, add actions. Inside this DAB rule, he will find all the rules to access and to get action to the requests. I can also easily remove a role and assign another role. This is how I created the user to this worker. Now let's just associate it all. Go to the user, Solvait user that we just created on SSS roles, Solvait users, Tony, and I will assign him the user ID that I just created. And this is how it takes it. Now this user is ready to be used on SSS. All the configuration is correct, all the roles are correct, and we can easily use it. Now we are done with users management. Let's just go and explain how workflow configuration works. In the system, go to Solvait Payroll, Setup, and then go to Payroll Workflow. You will find all the requests workflow that has been created before. Now we can open one of them using this ID and just see the details of these workflows. But there's something that has to be mentioned. Workflow should be opened in Internet Explorer browser, not any other browser. So it just doesn't work. It doesn't open from Chrome, it doesn't open from Edge, from Firefox, from another or any other browser. It just can be opened through Internet Explorer, IE, and this is a standard functionality that can be changed at this point. Currently, it works this way, so we will open it now from IE and see how it works. This is how workflow window looks like. I opened it from IE. Now, if you want to create a new workflow, you just click on new and then select the workflow you want to create. For example, here we have loan request, we have business trip requests, we have leave requests, all the requests, each one of the requests have or has its own workflow. So when I click on one of them, it just directly creates a new workflow for me. But before it creates it, we should enter our credentials. This is just a standard, also a standard functionality for the workflows. It currently works this way. Each time you create a new workflow, each time you click on an existing workflow to edit it or to display it, you need to enter your credentials, your Microsoft credentials. So I will just enter them now, then click on next, then click password, enter the password. I received a message on my mobile. I will get the message, and now I click the message, then click on verify. This is just a two-factor authentication way that is clicked or that is configured by the admin of this account, that we should have to, or we have to enter a code, SMS code. Sometimes we don't receive it, just based on how it's configured on your account. And now we have opened or created a new workflow, and this is just empty. As you can see, just have or has start and end buttons. You can add one of the buttons here. You can add a conditional decision. You can add anything you want to this workflow. Now I opened another request for you, which is modify request, and just opened it from here. Now you can just open it, and you can see that this is how it's configured. Here we can add approval steps. We can add multiple approval steps. We can add conditional decisions. Sometimes the workflow is based on certain conditions, such as departments, such as being in different branches, different sub-departments, different job titles, and so on. So based on these conditions, the workflow differs from one branch to another or from one department to another. Here we added a modify approval. When you click on the modify approval and you click on step 1, this step can be changed. The text here can be also changed. You go to the assignment and you can see here in the assignment that we choose hierarchy. When we say hierarchy, is that this workflow configuration is based on the hierarchy or organization structure hierarchy that configured and saw in the beginning of this video. So click on hierarchy, and then you can see here that you have hierarchy selection. You choose here in the hierarchy type, you choose managerial hierarchy, and in the start from, you choose the personnel number. And here in the conditions, we added this condition, employee line manager level, and you choose the level you want to be, and you want the workflow configuration to be based on workflow request to be go through. So it will be it will go through one level only. If you wanted to go through two levels, for example, you will just click two and so on. Sometimes you don't know how many levels you have. Some employees have two levels up to them, and they report to two different managers or two managerial levels. And sometimes you have or the some employees have up to five manager levels. So you just give the maximum number. In this case, you give the maximum number, which is five. We have five levels in the company, and then click here less than or equal, and then in this way you just mention that sometimes you have one manager, sometimes you have two managers, and so on. It just will stop by the end of this managers or managerial hierarchy or organization structure. So I will just go here and click 2. In this way, when it finds 1, it will go through 1. When it finds 2 levels, it will go through 2 levels. Now I will just go and close it and go to level up, and this is how it's configured. This is the basic, very basic configuration without any conditions, without any other levels, and so on. Now I will go and close it using this button, save and close, and just if there is any notes, I will just write the notes. And then activate this version and click OK. This is how this version is activated. We have here the active version, we have the number of versions, and also when you click on versions, we can see how many versions this workflow have got or has gone through. Today is 15th February, and I changed this one. I changed it 2 times. This is the active version that I just created or just changed. Also here on 2019, this user Amal modified by Amal, and also on here on this date it was modified by admin. We can also import and export these versions and these workflows. Here also we can see the workflow ID and also the type and the workflow name. Now we saw how we configure the basic configuration. Now let's just create a more complex scenario with more conditions on another workflow. I will just download this one, open it, and enter my credentials and sign in. And now I will type the code. I will click verify. And it will open directly for me. This is our end of service request workflow. So here we have this level. We can add another level. For example, here when we add it, we just drag and drop it, and we changed the arrows based on our new configuration. And here I can add this arrow to be ended to the end. So here we have two levels. We have this level called EOS Direct Manager, and now this level I can call it by basic settings. I can change this approval. I will say approval 2. It directly changed. And also on this level I can, or I should, because I just created it, I should enter this by clicking on step 1 and go to assignment. Or sorry, before we go to assignment, we go to basic settings, and this in red because it's mandatory fields. We should add them here. It's not seen by anyone. It's not an important field to be written. It's just a mandatory field. Just fill it by whatever you want. So I will just write approval, and I will write it here also approval. Now we go to the assignment. Now we have two options. We just saw the hierarchy option that we have when we want it to be based on the hierarchy of the managerial hierarchy in the organization. We just choose hierarchy. There is another option we can choose to be a user, a specific user. Sometimes we have only one managerial level, and in this condition, in the second condition that we have, we can make it to be assigned to a specific user, for example, an HR user or an finance user, and so on. So the requests go to this user exactly, regardless of the hierarchy of this organization. So we choose user. When we choose user, it directly opens me these tabs. Workflow user. I will just add the workflow user, and um, the user, not workflow user, and then choose the user, and then choose which user we want it to be selected. So I will just select this one and click on this arrow, and in this way we selected Yazid as to be the user who will receive these requests at this stage of workflow approval. I will close it and go to level up. This is how we configure the second level of approval. When we double click on it and go to assignment, we can see the user again that we just selected. This is how we have multiple stages or multiple steps of approvals. Now we have, or we can add a specific conditions. Let's just go ahead and add this condition decision, and this arrow will be added to here. and just drag it here. And now we have in this conditional stage, conditional decision, we have false and true because it's a condition. So we have to put a specific condition, and based on this condition, the action or the approval action will be taken. So I will just click on it and go to basic settings and add this condition. I can change this or say department condition, for example, and I will add a specific condition here. I can choose this condition based on these fields that I can add. So I will just say I will choose the department, dimension department. It contains operations. The department contains operations, and then close. If yes, what the condition will be, I will add the approval here. If it's a department equals operations, then the steps, I will add the steps here, the same steps we just added in the other step. And then go to assignment and specify a specific user so that this user is added. For example, I will write Aya. I'll choose Aya to be the one who will be assigned to this condition, and I will end it here. I will have this one to be on this arrow, and the second one will be for another user. So operations will be approved by Aya, and other departments will be just approved by another user. Let's just add a user here. I will choose Firas to be the user who will approve these departments. I will end it by this side, and this is how it's completed. These approvals also can be change the name of these steps. I will change them using basic settings. I will say operations here, and I will say here other departments or other. So I can see from this workflow that in the department condition, if it's operations, it will go through Aya. If it's another departments, it will go through, or it will be received by Firas to be approved or to be taken the action on. This is how we add decisions, specific decisions. This is how we add different managerial levels. And now this is everything related to workflows and how they are configured. Just don't forget to save and close and write your notes if there is any notes, and just click OK, then click activate it, and this is how this version will be activated. Also, there is something should be mentioned. Sometimes we add different requests or different workflows, multiple workflows on the same request. So we have to specify that one of them is the default one to be used on the workflow. So I can add, for example, a leave request workflow, multiple requests, but one of them is the default one. So here in the leave request, the default one is not this for sure because it's not selected to be default. To set it as a default, you just click on set as default and it will be selected to be the default one. This is how we work on workflows. This is everything we need to do for workflows. Now we are done with the workflow part or module. Let's just go to Triple S and start creating requests. So in this video, we spoke or we talked about positions, users management, and workflow configuration. In the next video, we will be discussing all the requests in the Triple S and how they are configured and how they are created and edited. All the requests will be discussed inshallah in the next video. So thank you for watching and see you again inshallah.